So friends, today we are into part 2 of business research methods. In the last week, we had seen about business research methods first part, and we had seen two case studies. If you remember, these case studies were uh, quite important in the sense that we got a sense of marketing research, that what all marketing research or business research is ought to and how it helps in decision making. Today, we will look into formulation of a research problem. That means when we have something really researchable, then we talk about application of research in solving that problem. Some problems are there which can be easily solvable, or we know how to solve it. Execution might be difficult, but that will obviously not come under a researchable problem. When a researchable problem, first we like to define the problem in proper way. A well-defined problem is as good as a half-solved problem. If you can define your problem very nicely, then you can understand in the problem, half of the solution is already there in the problem. So it is very important to define the problem. If it is a research problem, the definition of the problem is very important. Means whenever someone writes his or her PhD thesis, there before that there is something called as synopsis. Synopsis is somewhat we had studied earlier, the research design and how we are to go on with this research. And the first thing they do is they write about statement of the problem. That means what is the problem, that should be placed very nicely before the house. You have to floor it very properly. A poorly defined research problem creates confusion at all the stages of the study. So, a research problem, when it is very poorly defined, then confusion starts. You don't understand or define properly your variables of interest, which things are influencing, which things are being influenced, what is the target variable which you want to attain some value, otherwise you consider it to be a problem. All these things are to be defined at this stage. Let us look at this example. Uh, in some cases, the problem may be so vivid that it may be necessary to define it. For example, here you see the internal revenue of this particular company is going down. He must be the accountant and he is quite worried, and he is seeing that internal revenue is going down. Now, that is actually what we see in the surface, but in the backdrop, the reasons for internal revenue going down, that needs to be studied, that needs to be identified. So the researcher here feels that these things should be equally nicely defined, that what was the internal revenue earlier, why the internal revenue he feels that is going down. Sometimes things are usually relative. Internal revenue might have gone up, but in comparison to others it is going down. Let us take an example that you must have remembered, that you in your even say 10 years earlier, probably it is still in your radar, not 10 12 years earlier, that when our current CM was the health minister under the Congress government, then he came out with a plan that actually these doctors, after doing their MBBS, if they want to go to PG and want to study PG, they have to perform some services at least for 1 year in the village hospitals. That was made compulsory. Otherwise, they cannot sit for the PG examination. They can sit, but for that, if selected, they have to pay very lofty fees. They have to work 1 year, get a certificate, and that should accompany their PG application form. Or else, if selected, they have to pay a very high amount as admission fees, not the subsidized rate in which people do PG. Now, here one thing is very interesting, that why such a thing was necessary. Was the health condition of Assam very poor? Was the health services very poor? In our country, as you know, almost entire country, the problem remains in the villages so far as health infrastructure is concerned. Even some of the medically advanced states, if you visit, you will find that in the villages there are not many hospitals or facilities not there. People have to move to towns and cities for better health facilities. So this is quite common in our country. In Assam also will not be an exception. But what the reason was that, if you there are two things you see with the help of which we can understand about the health condition of the country or health condition of a place. Two things. One is infant mortality rate and another is maternal mortality rate. Infant mortality rate means child death within before attaining 1 year of age, and maternal mortality, as you know, means death of the mother while she gives birth to the baby, before giving birth or after giving birth, means there is a period, this window of 3 plus 3 before and after 3 plus 3 6 months, if the mother dies after So these are actually means this is giving birth to babies. This is a very common phenomenon. Otherwise, mankind will not advance. Mankind will not go forward. So in this regard, what happens is that when babies take birth, they should be taken proper care. They should go through proper medical medication. They should be proper institutional delivery should take place. Institutional delivery means in the hospitals. So or the means maternity mm, chambers or maternity wards, etc. Now, when this does not take place, then there will be high death rate of infants and high death rate of mothers also. So that value actually is alarming in Assam compared to other states. Now, after these things, after doing all these things, when this was once again recorded subsequently, after uh, Sarmaji came with such a nice idea of sending doctors to the hospital, it was found that the infant mortality came down, but the condition of Assam in terms of infant mortality rate deteriorated much more. In rank wise, they were much ahead. Number of deaths have come down, but not to the extent to which other it happened in other states. So actually, means if you look unilaterally at Assam, then it seems that oh yeah, things are going on fine. Infant mortality rate is coming down, maternal mortality rate is coming down. But when you look in the holistic, in comparison to other states, then we find that no, it has not improved. Rather, it is not showing any signs of improvement. Rather, it is deteriorated. So this is actually some problems which actually comes to the eye of a researcher. These things should be well defined. That why at all you identify it as a problem. That explanation should be there. Logic should be clear in the mind of the researcher. And in some cases, the problem is quite clear and everyone understands, and we call it a problem is very vivid. For example, here you see might be a park. In the park there are some children's park. You will see that in children's park there are some slides, some seesaw, some merry-go-round, some swings, etc., where children come, they play and enjoy. But here you see there are something might be there, but there are so many children that nobody can actually enjoy these rides. That means here the problem is that number of uh, visitors to the particular park might be more than the amount of facilities available. So now you need to solve this problem. Either you put up more number of merry-go-round, seesaw, swings, etc., so that more people can enjoy, or you put some restriction that we will sell the tickets, but once 20 children are inside, we will stop the children enter to children's park so that everyone can enjoy it. After this is done, these 20 means 20 people they are done. Then after or at give a time limit that once you enter within 1 hour you have to come out. So after 1 hour there will be once again some break or something like that, and then you have to come out of that park. So that is what is happening in this. In some cases, the problem may be so vivid that it is not necessary to define it, for example, in this case. So this is about research problem. Some symptoms of business research problem. There are two types of problems in business research. One is called as overt difficulties. These are difficulties that are quite apparent and which manifest themselves. These are vivid. These are available. For example, the previous example was a problem of overt difficulty. For example, if a particular business house sees that there is decrease in sale of products in that particular business house, then it is called as overt, and then that is an overt difficulty. And now you see, if you look at IPL, Indian Premier League, you will find that there is a means the team nearest to us, Kolkata Knight Riders. Owner Shahrukh Khan is the owner of that, and you will find that they are every time they are losing matches. Means long back in 2012 and in 2014 they were champions, but after that they hardly reached the finals. They never reached the finals after that. And prior to that also there were so many losses. And after that 2012 and 2014 when Gautam Gambhir was the captain of KKR, then KKR won the tournament. After that they were always doing some mistakes. They are having a good side, but the planning is not there. Either the captain is not there during the beach of the session. In between, they are changing their captain. Sometimes Dinesh Karthik, now not Dinesh Karthik, the captain. Then suddenly Ian Morgan becomes the captain. This time they are having a, a new captain. So Shravashayar they have purchased. So there was a big auction last week about in IPL. So those who have cricket must means interested in cricket must have watched the auction. And then there are a lot of actually economic theories behind these auctions. Lot of calculations and manipulations takes place in the auctions. A lot of planning, not manipulation, means planning, calculation, which player to go for and how much to go for. And each team has a fixed amount, and with that amount they have to buy at least 18 players. 18 to 25 that should be the squad size, and which player to go for, which player to not to play or not to vote for. So these are some important decisions which they have to take anyways. So then this they then this IPL team they have a slogan also, Korbo Lodbo Jitbo. This Korbo means karenge, Lodbo means ladenge, Jitbo means jitenge. But these can be changed in Khabo Gurbo Harbore. Means they eat, they just roam around, play here and there, and they get lost in every tournament. So this is the means some of the critics of KKR or Shah Rukh Khan tells that this should be the slogan, Khabo Gurbo Harbor. So they are getting lost. So this is actually a big problem, which is overt problem. It is clear. It is vivid. Now we require a solution to this problem. You don't need to define the problem so seriously because problem is already in front of us. Such problems are called as overt difficulty or overt problems. There are something called as latent difficulties. Latent difficulties in a business research are those difficulties which are not so apparent. But if not checked now, in some cases to come, they will become very evident in front of them. These are called as latent difficulties. For example, employees leaving the job, the university case. Now, what happens? You see, what happens that uh, uh, in the universities system, I have watched that a lot of teachers are there. All the teachers, some are new, some are experienced, some are semi little bit of experience, some are grooming teachers, some are having very potentially very good teachers. And might be such things happens in your company also, that there are different people of different level expertise doing different types of job. That's fine, and also having different level of expertise. Some are very good, some are progressing, some are learning many things, some are novice, just started their career, etc. Now what happens? These people they leave the job, not all simultaneously, but at their own will. Someone applies somewhere else, gets a better opportunity, goes there. Someone else maybe getting a job near his home, so he's going and shifting there. So people are leaving their job and going away, sometimes for greener pastures, sometimes for being closer to their hometown, or exactly in their hometown they are getting jobs, so they are leaving. Now what happens? You see, these when this happens, or people means continuously keeps, or continually, not continuously, continually leaving jobs. One leaving job, then after 2 months another one, then after 4 months three people leaving job, then another month, next month another one leaving job. Now these people who are experienced, who have earned, stayed with a company, learned the things which is required for doing running different machines, how to handle this one employee problems, how to do the social welfare, corporate social responsibility, all these things they learn. And then they shift, they learn about accounting, how to manage the accounts, how to work with the income tax, how to help the financial, look into the financial aspects of the company, and then go and provide their service somewhere else. Now this is actually a loss to a company, because now company has to hire someone who is less experienced. Generally that is what happens. So less experienced, once again teach that individual, now once again he will leave the job and go. So this will not allow the company to flourish to its full blossom. Rather, this will help the company to actually prepare manpower, as if it is a manpower generating house. Along with what they are producing, they are also producing manpower. By manpower I mean experienced and knowledgeable manpower about their work. So they are only preparing and sending them to the another companies. So that is what is happening to that any company. So this is, now it is not a problem, say, because people are not living simultaneously together, they are not living one by one, they are living after a gap. So the problem is not so serious, so vivid, but in due case or at due time it may become very serious, because if you look over a period of last 5 years, you will find that many people who had got sufficient experience are leaving the job and going to other companies. So, any one of you working in HR in your companies? Any one of you working in HR department of your company?
I don't think so. Anyone from our team works in
Okay,
HR.
okay, in HR. Okay, then this is a serious problem of HR. Now, HR may suggest the general management that once some person who is really experienced and really worth for the company wants to leave the job, we may try to retain that individual, which is somewhat done in some of the private companies that they try to retain. Why do you want to leave the job? No, I have got a better opportunity there. Better means in terms of what? Better means in terms of salary, how much they are paying you. Earlier they used to pay in your company, the person is getting 2 lakhs. Now he is getting 2.5. The company may give you an offer that okay, 2.5 is very huge amount for us. Why don't you settle down at 2.3 and stay back with us so that your salary is hiked from 2 to 2.3 and you stay with us, please, because you are already there. So maybe some people agree to that and stay back. So this way they might retain something, some people, because sending the person away and then training someone else to that level requires some more amount of effort for the company. So not only in university but in different companies this happens. And the reserve bench of Indian cricketers, you see, these are a group of players who are actually in the reserve bench. They are actually knocking at the door of being getting Indian senior cricket team. This is Ishan Kishan. He is the now this time he is the highest paid IPL cricketer, getting around 14 crores. So this is no, now this has become a regular almost to the Indian cricket team. So these are actually reserve bench. So now the many this Indian team, current team, it is becoming a little bit old. Like you can see the top order like Rohit Sharma, like Shikhar Dhawan, like Virat Kohli, like these some players these players are there. Some of them have retired, like Dhoni, Suresh Raina, they have retired. Now this group they will be retired. I mean they are in the mature age. This Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli, etc. So these people, they Mohammad Sami. So these people they will be retiring soon. Means in say 5 6 years you will listen that these people are retiring. And if out of form, they will be automatically turned down because they will be not taken in the team. So they are for 5 years down the line, some of them will retire. So you require a replacement for that. So in India cricket, the very good thing is that there is a good replacement. The replacement is always ready, and the performance of our youngsters are better than the senior cricketers. If you look at the under 19 cricket, uh, the more number of times India has won the World Cup, under 19 5 times they have won. The senior team has not won 5 times; they have only won 2 times. That means at the junior level, the performance of India is best, and no one is in comparison also. Neither Australia, South Africa, and not even England. So they are quite below what India's performance is this in the junior World Cup, junior level. So our actually reserve bench that way is very strong. That means anyone is not playing, that can be replaced. Last year there was an interesting thing. Simultaneously, India was playing two tournaments, one in Sri Lanka and another one is I think England. Simultaneously, two tournaments, two teams, means so much of abundance of cricketers, and both the teams were equally good. Like Shikhar Dhawan was leading one team, and another team was led by Virat Kohli. So one was playing in England, one another was playing in Sri Lanka. Two teams simultaneously, both under the name of India. Not one is India and another is India. No, both are in the name of India. They were playing. So much is the available talent. So success should have been more. But anyways, the reserve bench is very prepared. Now imagine about a country which is very much banking on the current team. For example, West Indies cricket team. You must have got a taste. Those who have watched the movie 83 of late, you must have understood that, watched the movie and seen the strength of the West Indies cricket team, because India had played 2 matches, 3 matches in that tournament against the West Indies in the final, and in the group league there were 2 matches, out of which one match India won, one match India lost, and the final obviously India won the match. And there the strength of the West Indies cricket team was told about. So the film, obviously it is a victory story of India, but along with that, in order to tell the victory story of India, the filmmakers have to tell about the strength of the West Indies cricket team. Several times it was referred to. No other team was so much referred. What it was done West Indies. West Indies had a very good batting lineup and a more stronger bowling lineup, which was very fearsome attack, and the entire world was few means very much scared of their bowling lineup because they not only bowl well, they even kill people. That was the concept like that. But what happened after this loss to 1983 World Cup, after that also West Indies showed their glamour. They have won several matches. Just in 1983 itself, West Indies came to India. 1984, West Indies came to tour India, and India lost all the matches against West Indies in their own soil. So that was the strength. But then the strength started to fall with the retirement of their captain Clive Lloyd and later on Vivian Richards. And when the four fast bowlers, there was a dialogue that Srikanth was telling that these four fast bowlers, no one want to remember their name. So actually, that was these four fast bowlers: Joel Gunnar, Michael Holding, Malcolm Marshall, and Andy Roberts. When these four players actually retired, then their captain also retired. Then subsequently, Vivian Richards was a great batsman, but not such a great leader. And then after that, the new team who came up were not of that mark because they did not prepare their reserve bench in that, or their infrastructure was not good enough to prepare a reserve bench, and that's the reason why they were not successful after that. Now, Australia took that example and they made their reserve bench very strong at the time when these Glenn Megra, Shane Warne, etc. were in the Ricky Ponting, then Michael Clark, etc. were in the team. At that time, they also had a very strong reserve bench. Gillespie, all these things. So even if some people are not playing in a particular day, the replacement are good enough or sometimes even better. So that is what a latent difficulties are. That for the time being it is not a difficulty, but in days to come it may become more difficult. So a good business house will understand its latent difficulties. A good research problem can point out at the latent difficulties which is being performed. A well-defined problem must specify the following. Number one, unit of analysis. The individuals or objects whose characteristics are to be measured. The units identify the objects to be studied. And what about the buyers? For example, this is two examples very interesting. Buyers of women perfuming at a given shopping mall on 1st January 2021. You may take it 2022 also, it doesn't matter. Women residents of the town who purchased perfume at a given shopping mall of the town on 1st January 2021. These are examples how to identify the unit of analysis. Here unit of analysis, okay, now look at this. Buyers of women perfume at a given shopping mall in 1st January 2021. Number two, women residents of the town who purchased perfume at a given shopping mall of the town on 1st January 2021. So here unit is obviously the customers who purchased first line and second line, both the lines. But are the individuals means is the group same both the cases? Just look at the two lines and try to find out the difference.
So no, I think the first maybe gents also, boys also.
Yeah, first one you see buyers of women perfume at a given shopping mall in 1st January 2021. So those who are buying women perfume, probably they want to give gift to someone, a woman friend maybe. And here also in this first example, there may be men who actually doing the purchase as well. Because here gender is not, purchase is about women perfume. So we may assume that women perfume is sprayed on women only. Uh, so let us assume that that might be quite a situation, because some people may prefer giving women perfume also, that I don't know. But then this is purchased for women. But in the first example, the buyers can be men also, because it is written in this way. Second example, the buyers will be women, and we should also identify those women who are from the same town in which the shopping mall is. In the first example, buyers can be men and buyers can be women, but women from other places, other towns, other state, other country can also be there. But in the second one, it will be an woman who is purchasing because it is written woman residents who purchase perfume. And also which residents? Residents of that particular town. So our analysis, in this analysis, the two groups, the target groups that we are having in line number 1 and line number 2 are not the same. They are actually differing from each other. Now let us look at this thing. So this is a well-defined problem, the unit of analysis, that from which group we are to collect the information, that should be very vividly defined in this. Next are time and space boundaries. So time and space boundaries, we have to, let us look at this. Time at which the event happens. In business research, many a time is very important. And because understanding the in Hindi waqt ki nazakat, understanding the value of time is very important in market research, because business research demands that you understand the value of time whenever you do a particular research, launch a particular product, because many a times we have seen that many things are launched in and around another such event, which might be very much helpful or act as a catalyst in the positioning of the product. So, for example, some movies you will find that some movies are released in and around Diwali. Some movies are released in and around 25th December, Christmas Day. Some in and around Holi. So some holy, there will be holidays, Diwali, there will be some holidays, so people will take a chance of going to movie, and this was actually positioned. Might be the job was over 3 months earlier, but they wait and they release it around these festive seasons. And there was some division also, like Shah Rukh Khan targeted Diwali. These movies were released around Diwali. At that time, there would be no film from Salman Khan or Amir Khan. Salman Khan is out for means 25th December, around 25th December. A few years they had this understanding. These films were released like that, but later on this was broken. Uh, then location or geographical area in which the event occurs, that is very important in the sense that some business which is very successful in a particular place might not be successful in another place. The same decision which is very successful at a given time and space may act as a very silly one at a different situation. That means history repeats itself, but history does not repeat itself. History, if you look at a situation, we look back and look into our history and try to find out that what is the thing that is happening or happened in the past, and we try to draw a solution from that point. This might not be very much successful in business decision making. In business decision making, you may get stuck up in such things which was successful earlier might not be successful now. Also, with change in time and space, the importance of a particular commodity or consumer behavior may prove to be different. Some commodities they become obsolete in the market, especially these days. Things are changing so fast that a thing which is a very essential at a particular date might become uh, a very uh, useless commodity at a particular date, and consumers attitude and behavior keeps on changing very fast because of availability of different goods. Nowadays things are means many ways the things are actually spreading so fast. Activities and services are consumable goods are spreading so fast that there is hardly any geographical boundary. A thing which is successful at a particular place of the world will automatically be known to the people of the other regions because of internet, YouTube, etc. And so local producers will come into play. And many countries like India have already opened their boundaries for exchange of goods and services. So liberalization of Indian economy. So because of this, everything is now available. So these business decisions are very much affected by the time and space boundaries. For example, pork momo available here. Now you see what happens once I went to Shillong, and then I went with my nephew to a park, and outside the park, someone was selling momo. So I told my nephew that okay, let us have one plate momo. And so I was approaching. Then he told me no. He was a local guy. He told me that no, you can't take this. I told why. And he told that no, there is pork inside that momo. So I don't take pork. So he accordingly this, but other people were eating, and it was like in any other means it was very high in demand. Many people were gathering around. Almost there were queue for taking this, purchasing this momo, and people were consuming. It was cold day and the hot momo. People were just enjoying. A lot of people were there. Now I was assuming that if these things happens in my town and if there is a means big banner that okay pork momo is available here, then this person will not be able to sell anything because many people don't take pork. Very few people might be taking pork in my region, and so there will be not many people. Means you will not have any customers. The thing which is rather if he is selling something else, also people will not come and consume that. Like he may be having simultaneously veg momo, but people will think that okay, the utensil in which pork is cooked in the same utensils this veg momo is also cooked, so I won't take this. So rather because of the availability of pork momo, he might be not able to sell his other regular products. So that is an irony. You see, at one place it is a very successful thing, in other place it is not. So it depends on the cultural differences of places. Now Monty is back. That is now Curse. In 1984, I think there was a movie called Curse, and in the lead role there was Rishi Kapoor, Tina Munim, etc. And this was a very suspense type of thriller type of movie. Actually, here the heroine kills the hero of the movie, and nothing like that happened earlier in Hindi films. It was not a common thing to see. So people were very much. And so this type of movies carry a lot of risk that you are showing something else which nobody has had the courage to show, then there might be a risk. People might agree to that. People might like it. People might totally discard it. Another risky movie was Bajigar. And the Bajigar, if you watch the movie, then you will find that now though it has become commonplace. But at the beginning, means when Shah Rukh Khan was at the beginning of his career, Bajigar is one of his landmark movies, which made him Shah Rukh Khan. Though his first movie came in 92, but I think the movie which was a big hit was Bajigar in 94. When Bajigar also the hero of the movie actually throws away the heroine of the movie from the top of the building and kills her, Shilpa Shetty. So, and then that was everyone was stunned. Oh my God, what is happening? Like this, Bachara Khali was falling in love. Means at the beginning of his, and in that movie it was shown that they have just fallen in love. They decided to marry, and and at the beginning of love, everything seems so gulabi. So gulabi part of their love story, and then he kills the heroine. How is it possible? It was like a shock. But then there were so many grounds created for in support of the hero of the movie that this was actually means he was suffering from something more depressing, and that's why he has to kill the heroine like that. Okay, anyways, so those are actually very landmark movies bringing about some new and change in idea. The Shah Rukh Khan's one brought around the concept of anti-hero anti-hero, and following this Shah Rukh Khan did several movies also like anti-hero movies like say uh, there is Anjam, one movie was there, then Dar. Similarly, this is actually some new concept. Now, based on that concept, because that was a musical thriller also, I am speaking about Cars. So it was a musical thriller also. Very nice music was there. Ek Hasina thi, ek Divana tha, and many other very beautiful melodious songs were there, which are hit even now. Now, based on that, Himesh Reshmiya made a film sometime around uh, 2006, several years after Kutch was made, so at least 20 years later, and once again in the same name and Cars. But after the movie was released, means Himesh Reshmiya, गुलशन कुमार was the producer. They were on कर्ज. उनका मतलब इतना कर्ज हो गया मूवी बना के, इतना पैसा खर्च करके बनाया मूवी को, and then they were under कर्ज. So literally by making कर्ज, they were literally on कर्ज, and was not a hit. That means this is actually time and time matter. The previous pork example was about space. This is an example of time. That a business project which was very successful at a particular time may not remain to be same in a time tried later. So that was known to everyone, because instead of best of their efforts, it did not happen, because remix, everyone knows the story, and if they make some changes in the story also, then also people are offended, and that okay, इस story में twist कर दिया, मतलब वैसा नहीं है, वो अलग से कर दिया. And even if they keep the story same, then also some critics will be there. They will be telling, oh ditto story को copy किया रे, कुछ तो change लाना चाहिए था, टाइम इतना हो गया, कुछ तो चेंज आना चाहिए था. So that is the problem actually. Anyways, that film did not run. Okay, and there is a very interesting example. I actually about time. That time and space. How time, not time actually. How space changes. Okay, and since it is a matter of time, so this Raj Kumar told that uh, हम इसका जवाब देंगे जरूर, पर उस दिन जिस दिन वक्त भी मेरा होगा, हथियार भी मेरा होगा, और आदमी भी मेरे ही होंगे. So actually, let us look at this visual. So something is very interesting. Means it is real thing. So this is it is sometime in 2008-9. So this is me and my research scholar, we are sitting together. This is 24th of December, something maybe in 2009 or 2010, 24th December. Then this is a cup of water. Don't take otherwise. This is a cup of water. So me and my research scholar was doing a research on consumer behavior. So consumer behaviors, and I was telling him that okay, then we were at that point planning about a pilot survey. As I told earlier, pilot survey is a small survey performed before the main survey is conducted, and the basic purpose of pilot survey is to correct the understand whether the questionnaire is correct, where how much time it will require to fill up the questionnaire, whether some changes are to be made in the questionnaire, are people comfortable with the questionnaire, and after getting the data, then we analyze the data so that we understand which statistical techniques we can apply and what may be the possible result of that outcome. So we are planning, we are at the pilot stage of his work. So I told him that actually, you see, tomorrow is a holiday, so tomorrow you better go to the village which is nearby the university, because tomorrow is holiday, so most people will be at home. So you go there and you try to collect fill up some questionnaires, and let us see what happens. Okay, so he was not replying anything. He was just as if he is pondering over some things. And I asked him, "Is there any issue? Why are you not responding?" Then he told that, "No, actually, I am thinking that tomorrow is tomorrow is." So I told, "Yes, what is tomorrow?" He told that, "No, tomorrow is Christmas Day." I thought for a moment. I asked, "Are you Christian?" He told that, "No, no, no, I am not Christian." Then I told them, "Then what is the problem in Christmas Day to collect the data in Christmas Day?" He told that, "No, sir, I read in the book of Philip Kotler. He told that consumer survey should not be conducted during festivals days like Christmas." And I told that, oh, Philip Kotler has written this in the context of USA. In USA, Christmas Day is means, or the Christmas week, or this which they call Christmas week, starting from 24th December going on to 1st January. This is actually festive season there. People purchase, people give gift to each other, and there is a completely festive season. So normal consumer behavior cannot be understood during the festive season, because in the festive season is ought to put in more expenditure, and many people save money also to spend it in Christmas. So you cannot understand, people will consume more, people will buy expensive things. So this is what happening in USA, and Philip Kotler is the author from USA. He has written it in USA context. If you want to see it in Indian context, you may consider not conducting survey during Diwali or during Durga Puja or during Bihu or during say Eid, like that. So that is the thing. And you see here the village which I am referring to, that is a Hindu village, and some Muslim people will be there, and none of their festival is Christmas, so you don't need to worry about that. You go and survey. But even then he did not go on 25th December, बिकॉज इसने सोचा होगा कि सर ने तो बोला है, पर फिलिप कोटलर से ज्यादा थोड़ा ही जानते हैं. फिलिप कोटलर बोला है नहीं करना है तो नहीं करना है, किसी और दिन करेंगे, फिलिप कोटलर का बात मानना पड़ेगा. So that is actually the problem with the space, which is area wise. In that area, that is a big festival. This area no, should have gone. So he is telling, sir, today is Xmas. Now, characteristic of interest, identifying the problem. Once the problem is identified, now we know that what is our problem, about what we need to collect the information. But what happens that in a marketing research or a business research, since it is a social science research, so there are different other activities which might influence sorry, the main characteristics which you want to study. It does not happen in a laboratory experiment. In a laboratory experiment, things are under control. The researcher can control the temperature of water, the amount of oxygen in water, and he can do the experiment as per controlling the other aspects and see what is the effect of urea on the life of fishes. He can control other things, temperature under control, humidity, temperature under control, then this pH level of water is under control, supply of oxygen in the aquarium or in the water is under control. After controlling this, he is changing the different level of urea and seeing what is the behavior of the fishes inside because of the increasing level in urea. This can be done in a laboratory experiment. Scientific experiments can be done in that way. But in a social experiments like business research or any research in social science, we cannot control this. We have to do our experiment when other things are changing. They may remain constant, may not remain constant. We don't have any control on other aspects. For example, if you are measuring the stress of individuals in an organization, which is a very important topic of research for HR people, that stress of employees or satisfaction of the employees, etc. In that case, the other factors that might influence the peace of mind of the employee beyond his organization should be also taken into consideration. For example, suppose I am measuring the job stress of employees, but job stress will not come alone because he is stressed in job because he might be having stress from elsewhere. Maybe that he is living in a rented house where the Mokan Malik, the landlord, is actually putting a lot of constraints on him for his survival or for his staying there. So this might, he is arguing with the landlord every day, and accordingly this might create a pressure on the on the people, on the particular person concerned. So his job stress may not be alone. There might be some other intervening or influencing variables. For example, his wife might not be a very relaxed person. Wife must be very putting a lot of stress in him. In addition, you see his wife. It is getting night. He is yet to return. Wife will be beat him with a balloon because he is late. If he comes late and he is drunk, then with bigger balloon. And if he comes in time, but there is mark of lipstick somewhere in his cheeks or in his coat, then wife will shoot him. So जब से हुई है शादी आंसू बहा रहा हूँ आफत गले पड़ी है उसको निभा रहा हूँ. So all these things is adding up to his job stress. So when you actually focus in a particular variable of interest, there might be other variables which might influence your main variable under consideration. So this is the concept of. Now let us look at some of the environmental conditions which might actually influence your research problem. It may influence the uniqueness and genuinity of a problem. A response of price changes, because as environmental condition changes, price changes takes place. Sometimes price changes are taking place very rapidly. You must have seen that during the corona pandemic and even today, uh, every where there is was a price hike. In every product there was a price hike, and only one thing price is diminished, and that is hand sanitizer. Other than that, everything price was increasing like anything. uh, Environmental conditions changes through impact of advertisement. New products are in the market, new endorsement is been done by advertisement is done by new people. Launching of rival products influences the sale of a particular product in the market. So these are some of the environment conditions I am speaking about. It is not in terms of weather and other things, but it is due to the presence of rival products, changing of celebrity for product endorsement, and then price changes. Precisely, the company should be very specific about the environmental condition for which the research results are wanted. So generally, the research results that are surveyed and take some time to reach to are subjected to a given environmental condition, and the research results are obtained on the basis that the environmental condition does not change. And if the company wants to get the research results for a changed environmental condition, they have to tell the researcher that these are the changes which might take place in the environmental business environment of that organization, or outside in the market, and based on that we want the result. So these things are to be very specified in this case. For example, coronavirus, if you look at this, during the corona pandemic, health insurance was a business which was really in the boom. So, this health insurance sector has witnessed a huge surge due to the increasing demand during the pandemic, because people's health awareness increased during the corona pandemic. Post COVID, women are now more keen to buy health insurance plans. This is the first time that women have got interested in insurance business, because they found that this corona either takes away the life or takes away a lot of money. If in any member in your family becomes a victim of corona, serious victim, then you might have also experienced the take to the hospital. Then the hospital will have a different ward. There they will put them up, and if it is a government hospital, okay, some amount of things will be taken care of. But if it's a private hospital, then the medicines are so expensive. So what happens? The only way out is to get insured. So instead of getting health insurance, is something which is very, no, which is not very uh, regularly purchased by people. And in our country, it is told that insurance are not purchased; they are sold. Insurance are not purchased; they are sold, because in some things are there. In some countries, advanced countries, actually people run after insurance agents. At least get my this thing, that thing insured, health insurance, and then purchase something, house insurance. So like this, people get themselves insured, themselves and their precious products insured. But in our country, it has to be sold. Insurance agent will come to you and try to get their product sold. Nobody coming step forward and doing the purchase. So trend is changing little bit now. But when it was about health insurance, especially during the period of pandemic, many people actually approach the agents that whether your company is having any health product, means health insurance product. So pre-COVID medical advancement was assured. During the pandemic, the scarcity of medical supply and high demand was experienced, leading to increase of medical inflation rate. People are now more keen on investing on medical policies than on lifestyle. Instead of purchasing a big car, uh, expensive dresses, people are more keen on getting health insurance. And obviously, with the decrease of corona, once again, this will not be very popular health insurance. But during the health insurance, and companies also seeing that these now a lot of people are coming to them, and there is a stiff competition once again to sell health insurance from the company side, because people are approaching different companies and trying to find out which one is the best one, where claims are easily settled and where the benefits are more. So companies also started to deliver different types of product and customize their health insurance products in a different ways. So this is actually a new customized policy actually came up. Uh, the customer is telling, "Bata intezam kya kya hai?" Madam, what are the policies? coverage against COVID-19 if detected after a fortnight. Means some people, they might have mild symptoms of COVID and they can go for insurance. So in order to stop that, means COVID symptom or the fast RT-PCR test have to take after a fortnight of getting insured. So when you are insured, you should be fit and fine, not getting infected and then getting insured to bear the medical expenses. So treatment expenses covered even without hospitalization. So many people were not getting hospitalized. Also, hospitalization bed was less. Hospital beds were less. So people, what they were doing, many people are getting treatment at home under the advice of the doctor. So those were also covered. Any additional benefits like no claim bonus. Suppose I insure and I don't get COVID, or my family members do not get COVID, we remain safe. So at the end of a period, say 1 year or 2 year, if I could get something back from what I actually invested, then it would be to my benefit. So some companies were offering also that if there is no claims, then also you get a bonus. Cover several chronic and critical illness like diabetes, hypertension, cancer, kidney failure, along with coronavirus. Because corona may go, but these things will remain forever. So had a cover is simultaneously. Cover some consumables like PPE, kit, gloves, etc., room rent in hospitals, to restricted to some level, ICU charges, unlimited ICU charges. So these were some of the customization which was done in the health insurance products that were offered during the coronavirus. And this is an excellent example where the companies have taken benefit of the environmental conditions. So now we are at the end of this presentation. Let me take few more minutes. Hypothesis development. Hypothesis is a statement which the researcher wants to verify at the end of their study, or not, sorry, at the end of the study they want to verify their hypothesis actually comes from some previous researcher, or from experience, or passed to them by some subject expert, that if this happens then this is bound to happen. That means if you take lemon juice, then it will raise the level of vitamin C in your body, and vitamin C will raise the immunity of your body. So a researcher may take a hypothesis that consuming of lemon juice every day, or 3 or 4 times a day, will keep you free from coronavirus. So this is the hypothesis. Now to test this hypothesis, this may not be true, this may be false also. But whether the claim or the hypothesis made is true or false, that will come at the end of the research, after you complete your experimentation stage or data collection and analysis stage. For testing this particular hypothesis, you need to set up a research design, how you are going to deal with this. Corresponding to each hypothesis, there can be several competing hypotheses. Like someone tells that, okay, lemon juice will help. Someone else tells, no, this orange juice are much better than lemon juice because it has, along with vitamin C, it also has potassium, and it also has vitamin this one, zinc. So that will be more performance will be more better than ordinary lemon juice. So someone may tell that no, lemon juice has nothing to do with cure from coronavirus. It boosts your immunity, but nothing to do with coronavirus. It is not that lemon juice पीने से corona जो है चला जाएगा. Nothing like that. Rival hypothesis. There are different type of alternative hypothesis or rival hypothesis for this. Generally, the correctness of hypothesis is tested empirically using different statistical tools. So subsequently, when we go to our chapter called as test of significance, we will see how these hypotheses are tested using some statistical tools. So these are about hypothesis development. Hypothesis is like, say we have a hypothesis: if income increases, then expenditure in food shall increase significantly. So suppose this is my hypothesis. I start a study where sometimes government comes up with some policy so that the salary of people increases. So after every plan, this means 10 years, after every 10 years, there is a salary hike. Earlier it used to do like this. So salary hike is their new salary structure comes for all government employees, and it also has some repercussion. Private organizations also have to, under pressure, they have to increase the salary structure. And when more money come to people, there will be more money in circulation. So this also helps to raise the prices of products. There will be more money now available, with people who are in the totally self-dependent, uh, being not associated with private sector or government sector. They have their own self-employed people. There also economic boom take place because more money is coming in now. Now, I make a hypothesis that with increase in salary, there shall be increase of food products also. Means my expenditure in food will also increase. Now, if you look at this, so this is person whose food expenditure is there. So these are the. Now, this is what actually I thought. This is my hypothesis is telling that this is as income increases, the expenditure in food shall also increase significantly. So I was thinking in this. My hypothesis was in connection to this. And then I went for a research. This is I am going to collect the information from several people. And what I understood from what the people are telling, that with increase in salary, when their salary becomes twice or 2.5 times than what it was, they were not thinking much about food. Food is a very negligible aspect is there. But they are thinking about going for holidays. They are thinking about purchasing a new car. They are thinking about purchasing a new home. Uh, that means this is that with the increase in salary, the expenditure will more be on luxurious items. The amount of increase in food items will be relatively less or relatively negligible. That means after the study, I rejected my hypothesis that if income increases, expenditure in food shall not increase significantly. That is what I found at the end of the study. So at the end of the study, I might reject my hypothesis. So this is what happens about a hypothesis. So all hypotheses are actually statements which are put to test during the process of our research. So since it is put to test, it might either be accepted or it might be rejected. This is a famous law is there, Engel's law. Engel's law tells about that in economics, that if the income of individual increases, the increase in food will be increase of expenditure on food will be relatively less. There will be increase, but that is very marginal. People will purchase more or expenditure will be more on luxurious items. For example, you think about yourself also. If your salary increases by 20,000, it is not that you will go and purchase big fishes from the market. You will think of that, okay, how this money can be invested in purchasing some other luxurious items. So this is particular theory is also there. In conclusion, what we could tell that a careful formulation of the research problem could be helpful for providing proper direction to the research staff who are actually doing the research. It makes research both meaningful and economical. Unnecessarily, if you don't focus on the problem of your research at the beginning, then you will end up collecting a lot of information which might not be useful. It gives us an idea about environment in which the research is to be carried out, because the environment keeps on changing, especially in business studies. So we have to define properly the environment on which you want our results. The hypothesis points out at the direction in which the research should move. It actually helps us to reach the objective of our study. Finally, problem formulation should also point out the limitation